You know, throughout my whole journey, I really got to know and enjoy every single aspect that could have happened and the messages along the way. I really got to take in what is and isn't part of their lives and my lives. And I really got to embrace the amazing, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Like I don't think they were bad, I don't think they were good. I just think we were people. Hello, my name is Christian, and I will be concluding this interview about my parents on all of our chapters that we have read. Thank you. The first thing that I would like to take away about my family is what can I say? Like, their love was one of communication, value. They both physically loved each other and showed like physical intimacy, but also like the ability just to sit down and talk to each other and express what the issue was, what was going on, how could they make up a plan to figure it out, was truly amazing. And it inspired me to only look out for something like that, or at least try and build up to something like that with my own personal life. And going back and thinking about some myths right now, the love conquers all, be the first one to tell you that sometimes my mom hates my dad, does not love my dad, not one bit. Coming home, making some irresponsible financial decisions. I'll tell you that one. But at the end of the day, I guess she does still love him. He also makes all the money. But that's one aspect of the myth that I just don't see fit. Love doesn't conquer all that, especially with their origin. That was a hard fight for my dad. And then, one second. If we truly love each other, we shouldn't have to work on our marriage. They had to work on their marriage basically the entire time, especially with like kids and stuff like that. And since my dad was military, he fought in the Afghan-Iraq war, he would come home after a 2-year-long deployment, and he'd have to basically get reacclimated into civilian life. And I definitely was on the end of some of those rash and downright inhuman punishments at times, but he also worked on it and improved himself to allow this ability to just let us be kids sometimes, because some of the shit he got mad at us for was minuscule. You ever smile at him? Backhand. Insane work, but I mean, don't know what was going through his head at the time, but hey, look at us now. He's doing amazing. He's got an amazing wife, amazing job. He's balling out, as the youngins would say. Looking through here, and then the final one is like good marriages don't have conflicts. That's a lie. Every single marriage has conflicts, or at least this marriage had a conflict. Like, something that comes to mind is one time I was acting like a complete little shithead, and my dad was just getting progressively more mad, and he was like, I don't know what to do about like containing our child. And she was like, babe, he's 8 years old. And they had like a conversation about it. And then also with something a little less lighthearted, like my dad flipping hates when people don't do the dishes after like dirtying up the entire dishwasher. That is like his top pet peeve. And he had to talk with my mom about it, because my mom fucking hates doing the dishes, hates doing laundry, and like he has to sit down and talk to her and be like, hey, you gotta work at least like an 80-20 split here, not just dump. You got these, right? hey, you got all this laundry, right? And then it's beautiful to see them work it out and stuff like that. They still throw little shots and jabs at each other, like, but did you do the dishes last night? And she's like, no. Well, did you do the laundry yesterday as well? Didn't think so. I did that, and they're sassy and beautiful. Um, Analyze how culture and I don't really know, like the expectation that I have is that love is a two-way bridge. Like, sure, in public they may not like act as crazy as they do behind closed doors, but it's also like the moments they did act crazy was because of some BS or somebody got hurt from like my dad's job, and he'd be like, "Oh, oh no, we gotta go. My buddy just like hurt himself or something like that, and we gotta go fix it." And I don't know. They like they just set me up for like being super understanding and willing to roll with the punches and stuff like that, but know when to stand my ground and know that at the end of the day everything is gonna be okay as long as you have faith and your loved ones to hold. So, in terms of gender roles, like, there's still, I would say they're more traditional. Like, my mom still is the only one allowed in the kitchen. She's the only one that cooks. My dad occasionally, every once in like 7 years, homie goes into the kitchen, cooks up the greatest meal known to existence, and then never touches the kitchen again. But I think it's because like he watches a lot of like Hell's Kitchen and stuff like that. So like Gordon Ramsay will just inspire him one day to like make a beef Wellington or whatnot, and he's like, I can do that. But then like the chores are split up. Like there was some conflict, like I said previously, but they also found a way to make it work. Like my dad mainly does like vacuum, like he does like a really good job cleaning up the whole house once he gets home from like work. He does the dishes, he does the laundry, but then like my mom also does the exact same thing. Like the only thing that's like different is like I think my mom takes more care of the cat a little bit more, but it's not really in that sense. It's more or less just like, hey, younger brother's name, come over here and feed the cat, instead of like my dad doing it, because he's usually in the shower whenever it's time for like the kitty to be fed. But like whenever nobody's in the house, it's like, yeah, he obviously goes and does it, and then occasionally he does it without anybody asking him to. He's like, oh, what's up, baby? Oh, you want to be fed? What time is it? Okay, whatever, I'll go ahead and do it. Then it's like super chill. He does most of the yard stuff, most of the yard work and stuff like that. My mom does come out and help occasionally, but like, my dad has made it very clear that she only has her little flower bed. That is sole her area. My dad is everything else, and that's perfectly fine with my mom. She wants her little flower bed and stuff like that to grow her petunias and friggin' her tulips and stuff like that. And it is beautiful. But yeah, that's all I gotta say about that. Who holds power? How is labor divided? I mean, I already went over that. Nobody really holds power. If anything, it's not. It's honestly nobody. Like it's split up equally in different aspects. Some of them may do more in like inside chores than the other one, but then the other one does more in outside chores than the other one. And then like my mom is like tends to be the one that like helped raise us more than my dad, since he was gone through with like military and stuff like that. But like since he's retired and he's got his big fancy contracting job, he's been home like every single day, hasn't need to go on like any like training missions and stuff like that. And he's chilled out. I haven't lived with him recently or anything like that since then, but like he's definitely chilled out a lot from whatever he was actually in. And then include concepts like role expectation. Well, I mean, yeah, my bad, I'm not using these fancy words and stuff like that. Be like, well, the role expectation of my parents are this, and this. Like, I said it in dumber down words. I feel like it's kind of repetitive to just continuously go over and say it, so I'm sorry. I'm not going to say it, like,
yes, you could see there was some inequality in what one was doing and the other one, but it's also like they don't need big words to explain whatever. I already explained it pretty well. We'll shoot on down to how did they meet? You're gonna love this one. All right, so let's go with our filtering theory. Let's believe that everything is destined to happen and stuff like that. Like, I'm a firm believer in karma, and everything happens for a reason. It's an interesting one. All right, so my mom was also a Marine, and back whenever my dad first started, he got shipped out to Okinawa, and then while he was in Okinawa, homeboy was like, shoot, I need to make some extra money. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna work at a bar. Keep in mind, my dad is like 5'10" on a good day. And homeboy, you know, he's bouncing the bar, you know, he's sitting at the front going, I'm king of the castle, this is my chair. And my mom's 6'4", and some dude tried grabbing up on her ass, and then one thing led to another. She knocked the homie out, laid him out. His friends saw it, tried jumping in to, you know, rough her up, because, like, even though she's a girl, she's 6'4", putting haymakers on on people. And so, like, she's sitting there swinging a hit. There's like 4 or 5, like, knocked out Marines around her. And then the chicks of those Marines start jumping in too. And that's when my dad is finally like, oh, shit, I'm sorry. He was sitting there just like, oh my God, look at this beautiful woman just put belt to ass. And then, you know, he was like, oh, wait, that's my job. I gotta go help with that. So he ended up helping kick her out of the bar. And then, like, in that process, homie was like, hey, you're very beautiful. You want to go out sometime? And my mom initially rejected him, but, like, since that was, like, the only, like, good bar in Okinawa that was, like, really friendly to Marines, she kept going back, and he kept asking and asking. And eventually she was just like, you know what? Screw it. We'll go out. Sure. You won, buddy. Congratulations. We're gonna go out. But that is funny that the first ever time both of them ever laid eyes on each other was my mom getting into, like, a massive bar fight. My dad just going, wow, that is a woman right there. Stupid funny. Apply filter. I mean, if you want to look at filtering theory, go for it. But I think that was more of, like, everything is destined to happen, because, like, dude, look at how they met. If neither one of them was, like, going nowhere in their lives and didn't sign up for the military and then get shipped to Okinawa as well, instead of going to, like, Iran or Iraq, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be thought of. I'd still probably be, like, an egg, or yeah, I probably would have been bled out by, like, my mom, like, after a couple, definitely years ago. But it's still, yeah, it is beautiful. I don't really know. My dad is like, ugh. We're not gonna get into my dad's love life yet. That's something else for another time. But we're getting there. And then how does a couple express intimacy, analyze communication patterns, blah, 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 blah. So, excuse me. Like I said in the first one, they kiss each other, they give hugs and stuff like that. I don't know anything about bedroom life. I don't want to know anything about bedroom life, so I'm just going to assume they probably have sex, and if they don't, it's disgusting to think any further than that, like, respectfully so. But they are pretty chill. I mean, they also tell each other they love each other every single night. I know that for sure, because that's something, like, my mom was like, you know what? At the end of the night, at least my boo thing tells me he loves me. And it's like, yeah, fair enough. You know, that is beautiful to hear. I'll probably do the same thing. But it is just nice to, like, hear it, I guess. And then, like, they love each other. They go on little dates and stuff like that. Like, they get all dolled up and look all nice and stuff like that. And they go ball out on the dates. They go to events together. Like, whenever my dad has, like, a big, bad military event, he, you know, brings his boo thing. He usually excludes us because, you know, they're gonna go drink. Yeah, let me throw in like a magical word. The communication patterns that they use include physical intimacy, a little bit of, verbal or oral communication. Yeah, we're busting out all the words here. But yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty beautiful.
Pivoting about 180 degrees now, we're gonna get into the conflicts that they've had and the struggles that my mom has dealt with like basically raising me and my sister all on her lonesome because our dad was kind of fighting a pointless, that's my personal opinion. I believe it was a pointless war. It was for regional security, and then look at us today. We're now bombing that country for threatening. Yeah, it's too political. I'm so sorry. Not like I'm sorry. Like literally on my phone, I got the Apple notification telling me that just bombed Iran again. That's so fucked up. I'm laughing at it. I just swore too. I'm so sorry. I'm keeping that in. It's actually a little too funny. But he was off in war, and like my mom did struggle initially, like in the first part of like being alone with me, and like it was just not fun for her because like she was seeing every single news article about this unit getting blown up, this unit being absolutely slaughtered, this unit going down in a helicopter, like just article after article after article. And especially since my dad was, I can't even say, he was in special forces. He couldn't contact us or let us know and stuff like that. And like a moment that specifically strikes to me is one time we were on a Zoom meet, like he finally got the clearance to like video meeting us, and homie had a beard like triple the size of my beard, and then while in that Zoom meeting, like there was literally like a firebomb, and then like a cut of the camera, like the area that he was in literally got bombed. And I for one felt scared, but like I could only imagine what my mom was feeling and having to be like, no, sweetie, your dad is perfectly fine, knowing like there's like a legitimate chance that that was the final moment ever seeing our dad, and it was a little scary, a little crazy. I'm not gonna lie, I felt scared, horrible, but like my mom definitely like. It was a burden. It was a burden for sure. And then like once they got back, like they fought a little bit, and that little bit turned into a lot, because like my mom felt she had done a lot for us versus my dad, who was like he also felt like he did a lot for us, but that was also kind of hard for us to truly understand and see and realize what he had done, because we can't know about it. You can't know. I know a small quarter of it. Excuse me. And it's definitely something interesting. But that was just one conflict from my dad to my mom, like being away for that long, creating such like a strain. It was kind of hard for them to reconnect. But once they did reconnect, it was beautiful. They had like a full-on like 6-hour discussion in the car in the driveway, talking about everything. Don't know what went on, don't want to know what went on, but they figured it out. And then like after that car like talk, they were just completely normal. They were beautiful. Like they started acting okay. They were super chill. It was beautiful. Yeah. And then like there weren't any crazy conflicts that my mom really warranted or caused for my dad. Like the only thing that not even that, like sometimes my dad would get like super pissed because like before my mom became like a real estate agent, she did like nail tech and stuff like that, and like sometimes my dad would just get stupid. Like he'd had a bad day at work, he'd come home and like the whole house is dirty and stuff like that. There's no dinner started yet because my mom's still finishing up a nail. Like he'd just get like mad at her for that stuff like that. That's also like him and her. I don't really. Hold on, let me look up the official word. There was role strain on my mom because she was stuck with dealing with 3 kids,
she also had to deal with cleaning up the whole house and making her money as well, because like this was like prime 2008 during the freaking housing crash. Like it was freaking horrible. All the way up to like 2012. Like it was definitely a struggle. But they got through. They figured it out. They're beautiful now. The only fights they have are like play fights, where they're like, I say play fights. They're like they're playful jabs at each other. Like I said previously in the other statement, it was like they'll throw a little shade out here, be like, hey, didn't see you do the dishes today. Be like, you didn't get off your ass and do the laundry today. And it's like, okay, touche. You know, don't mean to flex here, but this is technically my house. Actually, if I look here, it does say that I'm a part owner in this house. Like little stuff like that. And they're beautiful. My mom's super talkative and stuff like she's a social butterfly. Doesn't want to be the center of attention all the time. She is not that at all. But like she's like very much like wanting to like hang out and talk with everybody and stuff like that. And it's beautiful. Yeah.
So, moving past that, we go to work-life balance, and I think I've been talking about it a lot throughout this entire thing because it was legitimately a struggle for my dad after getting out the labor-intensive part, like whenever he was not a grunt, but like not I can't say anything. But like whenever he was lower on the ranking in the military, that's as far as I can go. But whenever he was like that, like he still had to get deployed every so often. But like even whenever he got promoted and got moved up to a higher position, he still went out on training, but they were more in the country instead of being halfway across the world. That was better for us. And it was a good transition period because it went from like him being gone for 2 years at a time on deployment to him only being gone for like 3 weeks, getting back and having bare minimum, you know, like every military wants to get back from deployment to varying degrees, they get 2 weeks off. So like he'd come back, have his 2 weeks, and then he'd have to go out to another training thing for like 3 weeks. It was like a constant cycle of that. But it worked itself out because like depending on what state he had to go to, we straight up drove there sometimes. Like if it was during the summer, like he got stationed in Florida and we all went to Legoland together, and that was actually like a very fond experience. I have a horribly aged photo of me like grabbing like one of the Lego girls' boobs whenever I was like 10 or 11 or something. It was terrible photo. I don't even know why my mom was like, yeah, good, do that, yeah. All right, 1 second, click. But I mean, like I had a great time with like with like all the Lego roller coasters and stuff like that. And even today, like I can show you some of my Lego. I'm gonna show you how much of a freaking nerd I am in a bit, but I still love Legos today. And that's something like me and my dad did as well. Like we built Legos together and stuff like that. It was something to like help bond with them. But they are dual earners. So in that aspect, like my mom always had a side business, always had something going on, always making money in that department because one, we were just poor as shit back then. Like I think the dirt underneath our house had more wealth than in our bank accounts at times. It wasn't bad, but it was something. But then like my dad kept getting promoted. He got shot up the ranks fairly fast in like a year after the Afghan-Iraq war. Pretty baller. So like once that happened, like my dad started making more money and doing a little bit less, and that allowed him to stay home a lot more. And with that, he was able to watch us and stuff like that while my mom went to like school for her realtor's degree and license. And then like she had to be away from the house for like 3 to 4 days out of the week, like literally like studying, reading the books and stuff like that, trying to like make sure she passed her stuff. Passed first try, praise Lord. But
like, yeah, my dad like stepped up. He like really looked after us and stuff like that. Made us dinner, washed us, made sure we brushed our teeth and stuff like that. Like, he was a fairly good dad, and it was definitely not the dad that I remembered circa like 6 years ago. And that was also something amazing to see him evolve and be more calm, not more mature. But like be calmer and more understanding that we are little tiny children and little spitting images of him almost to a T. Like my personality is exactly like my dad's, except that I just talk more. It's the only difference. And it's kind of beautiful. And then like spinning back to like opposites attract. My dad is definitely like an actual spitting image of that. He was a short, quiet dude, and my mom is this 6'4", doesn't want to be the life of the party, but like if she could be, she wouldn't mind it, you know. Like she's a very go-getter, party animal, wants to ball out and stuff like that. But something they do to like balance their work life is like they do go on like they do like hiking trips together, and we have like a group chat and stuff like that, and he'll sit there and my dad will post all the pictures he took of them like on the hikes and stuff like that, and they're so beautiful to look at. It's literally like, you know how like every dad in their 40s has the like click, like the same like look and then my mom's sitting there like throwing up a different smile between every single photo. My dad's just sitting there like it's funny. It totally works though. It's like yin and yang. And then obviously they have children. Me, my sister. Ooh. All right, let's bring it back. So out of college, my dad, in college, a little bit of a gray area. I don't know the specifics or the ins and outs of that, but my dad met a hooker, and you know, one thing led to another, and that's how I got my older sister. Yay! And then, you know, and then my dad met my mom, and then, you know, they hit it off, and they're still married to this day. And then they had me, my sister, and my brother. So in total, my dad has 4 kids, and then my mom has 3 kids. But like, I still view my older sister as like a full-blooded sibling. My mom still views her as basically an extension of herself, her child. And she's there was definitely some issues with like my dad paying child support to freaking, I hate her mom. Her mom is so, like, I don't want to use the C word, but like that is the only word to describe that lady. She is just a total and complete C word. And like, there was a lot of issues. She took him to court for more child support and stuff like that, and then ended up paying her less money in child support because the judge was like, "Oh my God, dude, you're making this much and paying her $2,000 a month, buddy. I am so sorry for you. Yeah, we're just gonna check that to 1-3." Like stupid stuff like that all the time with freaking Camille, and it worked itself out. Like, I definitely love my sister. My sister was a bit of a shithead when she was younger. Like, she was always, why isn't the attention on me? It should be me. But she worked herself out. Like, she went and lived with us for about 2 years whenever I was like 8 years old to go to college and stuff like that. And, you know, it was pretty chill. Like, she went, like, from the first day she was there to the last day she was there, she completely did like a full 180 in how she was as a character. And I think my parents definitely helped her with that and be like, hey, my sweet baby girl, let's not act like a complete shithead to people. And, you know, maybe other people won't do the same, huh? That's basically what happened, you know? I'm oversimplifying it to an extreme degree, but, like, yeah. Like, I hope the different cuts aren't messing with you, but it is beautiful. There wasn't really a parenting style. My mom did like most of the early parenting, Like, I guess a division of labor for that. But like my mom, whenever my dad was deployed, it was basically just me, her, and my sister. Me, her, and my sister. Me, her, and my sister. Dad would come back for like 6 months, be off again. Dad would come back for 3 months, be off again. Like, of the 19 years I lived underneath my parents' house, my dad was away from my life for 15 and a half total years. So, like, I know him, but I don't know him, if that makes sense. My brother is definitely getting the best treatment out of everybody. Like, he has only been gone of his life for, like, 5 years, and homeboy's, like, 12 now, so, like, definitely balling in that aspect. Like, my dad is definitely a much stronger father figure to him than me, but, like, also, it's a weird dynamic. It's one of the sacrifices you give for being a military family. Like, he was missing at one point. Like, there was some messed up stuff in that war that came along the way, but, like, we got through it and we figured it out. And then, I guess, including one major transaction, it would have to be, like, honestly, none of it, dude. Like, the divorce, there wasn't any issues with divorce, no issues with remarriage. Like, my mom was fully committed. Like, yeah, this is her word, she locked that shit down. Like, did not care at all. It was super casual. Like, I guess the only issue was, like, financial hardship, but, like, that was literally whenever the whole country just kind of, like, went from, like, yeah, housing prices are beautiful, boom, and then, like, I'm pretty sure everybody suffered there. It wasn't just, like, my family thing, but, like, we didn't really struggle for money. Like, we still ate. We eat a lot more better, or we eat more better than we do now, but, like, or we did, yeah, we do now than we did back then, but, like, there wasn't really a crazy financial hardship. At least there probably was, but, like, not to my knowledge. Like, there was always money for them to get gas and go to work the next day, and there was always money for utilities. Like, we only had, like, 2 or 3 utilities shut off whenever I was younger, and it was, like, gas and the water. But the water one was just because my parents forgot to pay it, and then that's what they probably were skimming money there, but it's something I don't know. I'd have to go and ask them. This is all just from memory. But, like, the gas was expensive, I guess, back then, because they just didn't want to pay. We didn't have cable at all. We didn't have Wi-Fi up until, like, I was, like, 13 years old. I didn't have a phone up until I was 14 years old. Same with my sister, and then that baby treatment and that younger sibling treatment, he got his phone at frickin' 8. You know what I was doing at 8? I was playing frickin' Legos and, like, messing around in the backyard and digging holes and stuff like that. But, like, it's just how it is. You know, the difference, technology's improving and stuff like that. And then aging in life course, how did the relationship and family change over time? I mean, I feel like I've been going over that basically, like, the entire thing. So it's kind of hard to, like, bring it all together and wrap it up. But I guess, like, starting out, my dad was extremely hot-headed, like, small thin wire to, like, just stuff he found, like, dumb or minuscule. Like, he couldn't stand that, like, an example, he couldn't stand that, like, a 6-year-old didn't have the concept of, like, time management. That was an insane pet peeve of his. Like, he'd be like, hey, buddy, I want you to finish this in 15 minutes and then go start unloading the dishwasher. Okay, Papa. 2 minutes into, like, me picking up my, like, toys or something like that, I'm like, oh, snap, watch this. And I start playing with my toys for, like, the next hour, and he comes through and be like, boy, I thought I told you. You know, like, the straight 0 to 100. But as, like, time goes on, like, I can straight up make fun of him now. Like, it's so insane. I couldn't have done that when I was younger. And I think that was just, like, years of me wearing him down and stuff like that to, like, get him to that, or not, I say me wearing him down, it was all of us wearing him down to, like, get him to that point. But, like, now, like, you know what my sister calls my dad? She literally tells all of her friends that my dad is her bald diabetic father. And, like, he just straight up took that. He wasn't even like, you can't call me that.
It's not my name is Eric. You must respect my military. No, now he's just like, yeah, I am bald. Like, he's starting to, I wouldn't say he's, like, getting all that joyful, but, like, he's definitely starting to, like, he's definitely lightened up from, like, original dad. You know, I think, honestly, if it's between you and me, I think it's whenever they had to cut off all his hair, he was just like, oh, no. Oh, no. Couldn't be jolly anymore and stuff like that, but, yeah, it worked itself out. It was beautiful. And then, like, for my mom, like, my mom is, like, diagnosed, like, she is a control freak. She needs to have and maintain total and complete control all the time. She doesn't, like, she wasn't, like, a helicopter parent when we were younger. She should have left us to our own devices, but, like, whenever she came up with, like, a set plan and stuff like that, it was like, this is how it has to go. You can't mess it up in any way like that. Don't do anything like, hey, baby. Yep, I'm sorry. This is what the plan is. Don't do anything. Don't mess it up. This is how it's going to be done. Frick, I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. But, like, very much a control freak since, like, younger me to now. Like, she is very much like, as long as it gets done by the end of the day, I'm fine. And stuff like that. Like, their relationship evolved because, like, I'm fairly certain that, like, my dad being away in the military and stuff like that had a huge effect on how my mom viewed my dad, or vice versa. And then the changing of that, and, like, they got into, like, a semi-big fight one day because, like, I was acting like a little shithead, and then, like, my dad just couldn't understand why I kept acting like this, and then, like, my mom was like, he's a spitting image of you, and stuff like that. And then they had, like, a whole, that was the car ride where they spent 4 hours discussing. But, like, after that moment, like, I for one felt like shit, so I fixed myself and wanted to be a better person and more understanding of my dad's situation, and also just mature a little bit instead of having, like, a screaming match every single time about my vented frustrations on him not being there. And then, like, she also helped him understand why I was so mad at him but also loved him. And then she went on, like, what is gonna go on if we keep furthering this relationship and stuff like that. Like, you need to be more understanding and stuff like that, and not know what's going on, but, like, just be open to hear instead of quickly making, like, rash decisions. And then, yeah, their relationship has evolved a lot for sure. I'm not, yeah. But I think that's all. I'm sorry. Like promised, I got you, pimp. You want to see some Legos? So keep in mind, I am an adult. And, yeah, I like Legos. And then that's my vendor, mind the alcohol and stuff like that. Dope stuff, though. Thank you. Interview done.